Hello and welcome to the Luv Doc podcast with hosts Waldo Wachewski and Ophelia Brewski.
This particular advice seeker is writing in as the South Austin Sun, so we'll just call him that for now.
Sounds good.
And so the South Austin Sun, he's describing his parents. They're in their late 70s.
Okay.
And they live in the house that he grew up in down in South Austin, and they've been retired for a long time, over 10 years. But it sounds like in the past couple of years or maybe more, his mom's dementia has gotten progressively worse.
Right.
So naturally, his dad has kind of stepped in as her primary caregiver. And, you know, it sounds like he's doing a great job, but it's definitely taking its toll on him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people listening can relate to that. You know, they're seeing their parents getting older, and in a lot of cases, it's one parent sort of taking the brunt of the caregiving responsibility.
Right.
And it's definitely a really challenging situation all around.
And so one of the things that the South Austin Sun describes is that his parents, they always had a good relationship, but now they're just kind of constantly irritable with each other and sometimes downright mean to each other.
Right.
And so this isn't just something that's happening behind closed doors. This is happening when he and his family are visiting.
Yeah.
And he mentions that his wife doesn't even want to go over there anymore because it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty clear sign that something's not right.
Right.
When even the grandkids are picking up on the tension,
Yeah, exactly.
It's not just about the parents anymore. It's affecting the whole family dynamic.
Exactly.
Everyone's walking on eggshells, and it just creates this sense of unease for everyone involved.
Right. So the South Austin Sun has a sister in Houston and a brother in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And they both think that their parents should move into an assisted living facility.
Yeah, makes sense.
To take some of the pressure off their dad.
Right.
And also, to provide their mom with an environment that's more suited to her needs at this point.
Yeah, I mean, assisted living is designed to offer that kind of support.
Yeah.
It's not about taking away their independence completely. It's about providing a safety net in a community setting where they can get the help they need.
Exactly. But the South Austin Sun's dad is adamantly opposed to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he suspects it's because his dad sees it as a criticism of his caregiving abilities.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's hard to admit that you need help, especially when it comes to caring for someone you love.
Yeah.
It can feel like you're letting them down or failing in some way.
Exactly. And so he's in this tough spot because he agrees with his siblings that assisted living would probably be the best option, but he has no idea how to even bring it up to his parents.
Yeah, it's a delicate situation.
Especially because he knows his dad is going to be resistant.
Right.
So what does the Luv Doc have to say about all of this?
The Luv Doc, takes a bit of a roundabout way to get to their advice. They start by talking about this counterculture newspaper that used to exist in Austin.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story, actually. Apparently, this guy used to sell powdered urine through the classifieds.
Powdered urine?
Yeah, like you would use for a drug test or something.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's pretty out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the Luv Doc uses this anecdote to make a point about how hard it can be to convince people of something they don't want to hear.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Right. Like, even if it's in their best interest, it can be a tough sell.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the South Austin Sun is up against with his parents.
Holy crap! You're psychotically obsessed with the Luv Doc, but can't think of a flashy gauche way to share your obsession with the world? Stop thinking and make a beeline for the Luv Doc's home sweet home on the interwebs, thepleasurecraft.com, where you can find a veritable treasure trove of sick merch that will make even your coolest friends super gel. Honestly, I don't know why you didn't already think of this yourself, but you're welcome. Have fun on the Pleasure Craft. It was made just for you. Let me spell it out for you one more time. www.thepleasurecraft.com.
Okay, so what does the Luv Doc actually recommend?
Well, they say that sometimes it's easier for parents to take advice from their peers than from their children.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, so the Luv Doc's advice is to find a friend or someone else that the parents respect who has already made the move to assisted living.
Right.
And have them talk to the parents about their experience.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of like, instead of coming from the kids who they might see as, still their kids, even though they're adults.
Right.
It's coming from someone who's in their same shoes.
Yeah.
Someone who's been there, done that.
Yeah, that's a really smart approach, I think, because it takes the pressure off of the South Austin Sun and his siblings.
Exactly.
And it allows their parents to hear about the benefits of assisted living from someone they might actually listen to.
Right.
And the Luv Doc even says, help you sell the idea, which I thought was interesting because it acknowledges that there is an element of persuasion here.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're trying to sell powdered urine. It's coming from a place of love and concern.
Right. It's about what's best for the parents, ultimately.
Exactly. And it's about giving them the information they need to make an informed decision.
And, sometimes hearing it from someone who's been through it themselves can make all the difference.
Right. Because it's not just abstract anymore, it's real.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, so-and-so did this, and they seem happy and well taken care of, so maybe it's not such a bad idea after all.
Exactly. So what should the South Austin Sun do with this advice?
Well, the Luv Doc emphasizes that parents often have a hard time taking advice from their kids. So they need to think about who among their parents' friends might be a good fit for this conversation.
Yeah.
Someone they trust, someone they respect, someone they might actually listen to.
Right. Someone who's maybe already gone through this with their own parents.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, think about how to approach that friend.
Right.
How to have that conversation without putting too much pressure on them.
Right, because you don't want to put them in an awkward position either.
Right, exactly. You just want to kind of plant the seed and let them take it from there.
So it sounds like the key takeaway here is that sometimes the best way to help your aging parents is to find someone else to help them.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's not about giving up or stepping back. It's about recognizing that there are other people out there who might be better equipped to provide the support they need.
Yeah, and it's about finding the right messenger.
Exactly. Someone who can speak their language,
Right.
Someone who can connect with them on a personal level.
And that might not be you.
No, not always. And that's okay.
Right.
It's about putting their needs first and finding the best way to meet them.
So South Austin Sun, I hope this deep dive has been helpful.
Yeah. And just remember, you're not alone in this.
A lot of people are going through similar challenges with their aging parents.
And it's okay to ask for help.
And it's okay to not have all the answers.
Right. You're doing the best you can, and that's what matters.
As you're thinking about who you might reach out to among your parents' friends, think about who they really look up to,
Yeah.
who they admire, who they trust.
And, maybe even think about their social circles or activities they used to be involved in.
Yeah. Is there someone there who's already gone through this who could share their experience?
Right. It doesn't have to be their best friend. It could be someone who they just have a connection with through a shared hobby or something.
Right. And again, the goal here isn't to force a decision on your parents, but to give them the information they need to make the best choice for themselves.
Yeah, and to help them see that assisted living isn't this scary thing.
Right.
It can actually be a really positive experience.
So just, keep those things in mind as you move forward.
Yeah, and be patient.
These things take time, and it's a process.
It is, yeah. And just remember, you're advocating for your parents' well-being, and that's something to be proud of.
And one final thought as you're reaching out to those friends, think about the timing too.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Is there a natural opportunity coming up where you could bring this up?
Right.
Or do you need to create an opportunity?
Right. You want to be sensitive to what they're going through and not just kind of spring it on them out of nowhere.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you don't want to wait too long either.
Right.
It's a delicate balance.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
This was great.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
And we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.
See you later.
To read the column that spawned this podcast, go to austinchronicle.com/columns/the Luv Doc. There are probably worse things to do with your time, right?